Well, we got a little wind behind us, but here we are at Nicholson, Pennsylvania, the old Sickler Dairy Farm. Worked here as a kid, my early teens, even before then. Climbed those silos, pitchfork the cone, the silo jet blow up, moved that all around, milk cows here, field work, pick lots of rocks. What's a shell of a barn used to be, it caved in back in 2017. There was a big snowstorm and it was a Kwanzaa style barn that didn't have maintenance on it, so it actually collapsed. I believe that larger silo is an 80-foot silo. Corn one, and there was a wood silo there that they took down a couple of years ago. So walking in here is the two where the milk tanks used to be. They just pulled them out today. Old milking parlor in here. Eight cows at a time. Milkers are still set up. We used to grain them in the parlor here, and graining them meant we had a, I don't know if you see it on loader over there, that auger, I should say. That went down a simple pipe into, here's a piece of PVC. That was attached to it, and there's a garbage can down the floor here. And you take an old water from a tie stall barn, attach to a pipe, and you fill up all their feeders to give them grain. Right out here was a holding parlor. Well, not a holding parlor, but holding area, which is still standing, but the rest of the barn is obviously gone. A lot of work was done in here. To turn this auger on, you take the feed scoop and you push up on that knife switch right there from down inside the lower area here. Let's take a walk down there. So the reason I'm making this video, I mean, there's not much left here. I mean, it's pretty much a shell of what it used to be. But like I said, I spent a lot of time in here milking cows and doing all the other work we do here. So the cows would go in, obviously their heads would go into those tubs, and you'd be milking them right here, pulling the milkers off. And remember the one time we're in here milking, a bunch of corn snake babies came out of that pipeline right there, started falling out on the floor. That little radio, when it was playing, it would play 96.5, which is a religious station. There's a milk pump right there. And it's set up for a wash cycle right now, obviously, because there's no bulk tanks. But that'd go over here through your milk sock. And here's where we'd clean all the milkers out in here. Primitive, primitive, primitive. And right here, that's where your milk socks would come out of. They're still in there, ready to go. I did grab a calendar. You can see there's one right there. Dean Sickler, he was the last one to milk out of here. Leland and Joan Sickler. This is a mechanical room where you have your vacuum pumps running, which are right there. you have your main and a spare. So if one goes down in the middle of milking, you're still good to go. There's a lot of junk in here now. There's always a lot of stuff in here, but not as bad as this. We'll walk out into the barn. So the cows would come in through the other door like I explained. And when they're done being milked, you'd open these gates up right here, which you grab from down in the lower portion there. Open those gates up and the cows would walk out here. They'd walk into the barn. Now, there's a lot of stuff here in the way, but before all this was here, there was a staircase that would fold down from the top, and here it is right here. And you're able to walk across this mezzanine, which used to be here. And here's a water tank that the cows would drink out of, and we also used to have whey in it, which was ran out of a trailer that sat right there. It was a big milk tanker trailer. So over top of my head was a second floor that would keep all the heifers on. And this is a big freestall barn. When this barn collapsed, a farmer that was keeping some cattle here actually had a cow stuck in here that we cut off all the tin and ended up over in that area right there. So the barn was sitting on top of it, so we were able to cut it out and rescue it and get it out the door there. There's conveyors that went across from here into the feed room. And this was a conveyor belt, and you can see there's a sweeper that was on top of there. That would go down one side, and it would hit a stop, then it would start spraying the feed to the other side. All haylage and corn silage. Here's an old waterer that was here, heated for the winter time. Then on top of that pole up there sat a mercury vapor light. And that was your light for inside the barn. The height of the barn had to be at least 60 feet high. I mean, it was pretty tall. And then right here, covered underneath all this, was a big, you could see a wooden floor that you could walk over. One park, it was a 460 gas tractor, utility tractor, with a big tire, like a Uke tire that was cut in half. They'd pull behind to sweep the floor or clean the floor. And it'll just go in that big pit right there. Then that was pumped into the harvest store, slurry store right there. You can see here's one of the motors that would pump it out. And all your wash water coming from the milk house was piped out to here. You can see that there's a stairway right there with the board on top. That's how we got the heifers up and down from the upper mezzanine down into the feed room. Got kicked by a heifer once, trying to get him up there, trying to get her up there, I should say. The old man, Leland Sickler, there's his crutches. He had a hobbled up body, and later in life he used crutches to get around everywhere he's going. Hard-working man, I'll tell you that. Here's the feed room. It's pretty rough. Well, not pretty rough, it's real rough. So there's a gentleman who bought the acreage up here in the barns and all the buildings. He's just going to tear everything down, level it. That was a wooden silo that was once there, which you can see there's a bunch of pieces of wood out there. That's where it all came from. And these right here are actually for pulling the unloader out, because those harvester silos are unloaded from the bottom. I remember we've done that many a times. A silo never breaks when they're empty. It's always when they're full. I could still hear these things running, that clicking noise it would make. Oh, gotta watch where I go here. Yeah, you can see where that pipe would fit in there to pull that out. You'd winch it out. It was a lot of work. but that silage would dump into smaller conveyors, and that would I don't know if all these, they're not all the same, but there's a conveyor that went from that concrete silo over to here, which are in corn, and they went out there to that big feed bunk, which is no longer really there. There's pieces that have been taken out. But yeah, I learned a lot about work up here. You gotta be careful walking through here. You see here's all the old manuals for plows and choppers, tractors. Looks like the unloader's in a down position. Doing justice for what is there. Oh, it's zoomed in finally. We used to have to climb these to fix it on loader. It was always a treat. And there's doors that went down this whole thing, wooden doors, for when you had to lower it. So yeah. That's it. I think I might have to climb these one last time. Got a bit of a jungle over here. I clogged that pipe the one time when I was unloading silage into it. Not fun. Not fun to clean out. And here's the remnants of that old wooden silo. Almost tipped a tractor up on that hill up there when I was chopping. That was excitement. Well, the kid in me couldn't resist. Those of you who know where I am, on top of the harvester silo. There's my man Connor. There's the old slurry store. Spencer Hill up there. Endless mountains over there. And there's an aerial view of looking down on top of the remnants of the barn. Elk Mountain in the distance there. It's really a beautiful country we're living up here. Yeah, at one time, I don't think you do it now, when the silo was filled, we used to go through that hatch with the unloader, running to pump air in there. And there's a cone that would be built up from the silage coming into it. We'd go in there and pitchfork it around. There's the smaller silo, and the concrete one, and that's the milking parlor right there. All right, that's it. Ow! So here's what it looks like from up on top. And this is what we're going down. Long way down. Coming down. This is what it looks like coming down. Big old Connor coming at me. Stuff we're not gonna be able to do soon.